Okay guys, I'm going to show you the charts now. I went through all of them from today. I did 3 sessions of 3 pulls with cool downs in between, about 12 to 14 minutes. I kept the room, I had to get the room temperature up because it was too cold this morning, but I was anywhere from 79 degrees at the very beginning to around 83 at the very end, but all the pulls I tried to keep in the 81 to 82 degrees. Humidity was all right at about 14 to 17%. Right now it's 1 o'clock. So anyway, here's the stock pull, one of the best stock pulls. I think I showed this one earlier in my earlier videos, maybe a slightly different. This was one of the smoothest ones, right at about 67 foot-pounds. Let me zoom in. Okay. Like you see a lot of other dyno charts making 102 or maybe even 103, and that is because we are at 4,500 feet almost here. Okay, so there you go. So I'm going to take this one off. I'll put it back later. Okay, so then I went through and looked at my very best, pretty much my best pulls. I had a couple that repeated like the ones I'm going to show you. Anyway, so number 38, I'm going to click it over here, so I'm on the left clicking away here. 38 is a 17-inch street core. So boom, look at that. See that? Let me get them on here and then I'll zoom in and talk about it. 50 is the 14 street, which did surprisingly well. I thought it would do pretty good. And then 41 is the 10-inch bad boy. It repeated this 3 times. Pretty stout. So, excuse me. Still got some smoke here, so I'll back that up. But see, so 38, that's a 17 street. You got 106.6, 67.51 foot-pounds. The next one is the 14 street, number 50, 108.54, 68.74, pretty darn good. And then the 10-inch bad boy is 41. I ran that a few times and made 109, quite a few, about 4 times. So 109.77, wow, almost 110, and 70.15 foot-pounds. That's the only run that I broke on this bike, 70 foot-pounds stock ever, out of all the stock pulls. So it's promising. It's pretty good. So down here is when I start the run. That's about 2,200 RPM, and then all this right here is kind of how I apply the throttle. I try to do it exactly the same every time, just but you know, that can be your wrist or whatever. Okay, so you know, till it kind of recovers and starts going here, that's the real deal, right from this point up. So that's why putting them all on here like this is kind of hard to read in the lowers where they're crossing over. But the green is the bad boy. A little less restriction. The little more restriction is just slightly ahead on the torque. I mean, we're talking half a foot-pound, not much. Okay, and then instantly it starts taking off. Right here we're at 3 grand right here. Okay, you can see it on the bottom here. So it crosses over. This is the 17 street, obviously the one on the bottom. Okay, has a little dip right here. Even the stock beat it right here, just barely. But I can get that out in the tune-up. I'll show you that later, or in a minute here. So, but anyway, so we got the red is the 14 street, and you can see where it's less restrictive, and it did pretty darn good. Here's the 17. Here's the 14, and here's the 10-inch bad boy with the comp. So this is torque. Here's your horsepower number, but they all kind of, you know, do the same thing. So the bad boy kicks ass. The street core ain't far behind. We're talking about 1.5 horsepower, about what I said. 1 horsepower at peak. Peak power with the box stocks right at about 9 grand to 9,200, 9,300 right here. So, we can take one of those off real quick. We'll take the street core. We'll take the street core off, which is number 38. That way you can see kind of the difference real quick. So the red is the street 14 street. Look at down here, it does pretty darn good, you know, and it's hanging with it pretty good, you know, about 52, 5300. It's starting to pull. It wants to get it out of there. So here's where the 10-inch bad boy takes over a little bit, and then as it's building the RPM, right now we're at about 67, 800 RPM. This is 7 grand. So that's a couple horsepower right there. Pretty much all that. And then this is torque, sorry, a couple foot-pounds of torque and about 1.5 horsepower. And here's your peak. So now let's do this. I will compare one at a time because you get them all on there at once and it's a pain. You can barely tell what's going on. So here's the stock bike, bone stock. Now let's go to the 17 street core. We'll compare that one. That's number 38 again. I hope you can see all this and hear me fine. Okay, so the blue line is stock. The red is the 17 street core. Again, no tuning at all. This is all today. So here you can't, this is where I'm turning the throttle, blah, blah, blah. Start to pull about 2 grand, 2,200. Right here's what matters. This is when it starts to be even. So right off the bat, the street core's ahead of stock. Pretty good. Couple foot-pounds, maybe 3. Horsepower, it's ahead of it also everywhere. Well, not everywhere as we get up, but look at the look at here. Excuse me. This is this is about 4 grand. This is 5 grand. So right around 4 to 5, we're talking big torque right here. About 6 foot-pounds of torque, even at between 4 and 5 grand. This is about 5,500 RPM, so it's still ahead. Starts evening up here about 6,200, and then right here, this is the street versus stock. There's a little blip right here, and it did it on every pull. So the stock muffler with the stock header, stock fueling, beat my 17 Tour right in this little spot. But even if you didn't do anything, you'll never feel this. This is 400 RPM. This is 6,800 to about 6,100 RPM, 300 to 400 RPM right here. But with my tune, I will most likely match this or beat it, even with this muffler. Because that's that one little area right there where it just didn't like it as much. Because look at recovers right here, 7,200, and already boom, it's ahead again. So there's a little area right in there I need to clean up in the tune. But look up here, the stock muffler just starts falling off like a mother. And this is power, power. So you're talking, there's your 6 horsepower, right? That's 6 horsepower right there. 100 to 106, and the torque is huge, like 8 or 9. It's really falling off. It really chokes it. And this all has to do too probably with the secondary butterflies, not just electronics. So, okay, so now that's that one. Now let's go to the 14 Street, which is number 50 that I showed you earlier. There you go. So here you go. Here we're taking off here, and right around here we got the. This is 2,200 RPM. So we are ahead. Here probably. Oh geez, probably it's a couple foot-pounds. And then all the way up here, this is big time in here. Right now we're at 5 grand again, so even in this area we're 4 to 6 foot-pounds of torque at 5 grand with the 14 street. And the horsepower number then's a couple, not just one. Again, this is stock, the blue line 23 poles. And then notice up here with the slightly less restriction, same cores in the 17, but that 3-inch shorter muffler lets it get through this little point here. So it still has a little dip, but it matched the stock setup right in there where we had it be low, just a hair. And then of course it kills it up here, it's flowing more. So this is your torque. We got 6 or 8 foot-pounds of torque. Same here, about 8 foot-pounds. That's at 9 grand. And horsepower, same thing. It made 108.54 and 68 foot-pounds, almost 69, versus this 100 and call that 67. Okay, so now we take that one off and let's go to the 10-inch bad boy, which is number 41. 41, 42 is about the same. I just picked 41. 10-inch bad boy is stock. So here we are here, we come up here, and we've got the, this is at about 2300 RPM. So it's about the same right here as the 14th Street. The 14th Street actually was a little bit higher right here, maybe half a foot-pound or something. By this point, they're even. Then the 10-inch bad boy starts taking over. It's making more torque and everything everywhere. And up in here, we made the, look at that. So we almost made 10 frickin' horsepower. Well, there it is. You see the numbers. Peak torque right here. Excuse me. Yeah, right here. So peak torque on these motors stock is right at about 8 grand. Horsepower we got right here is peak. So anyway, that's pretty much it. I don't know what else to show you. I could put them all on there once. It's kind of hard to see. I could zoom in on them for you. We got 23. This video is going to be long. We got 38, got 50, and then we have 41. Okay, so there they all are in their infamous glory. So, can you see them all? Those are in order there. I'll just go in a little bit so you can see the chart. 23 is stock, number 38 is the 17th Street, number 50 is the 14th Street, and number 41, the last one, is the 10-inch bad boy with the comp core. And there's all the charts. Thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed this, and might take this baby for a ride tomorrow. We'll see. Anyway, we'll see what we're gonna do next. I'm gonna decide on my tuner. I think I'm gonna do some tuning first. Try all that before reflashing. Don't touch the electronics. Open up the airbox, can-in filter. Design my own tuner, come up with my own tune, and try that first. And if it's really held back by electronics, then I might do the other route with the flashing. But I'd rather not do that if I don't have to. There's 10 ways to skin a cat. And you know, the deal is an ECU costs about $1,100, and anything goes wrong, man, you're out $1,100. So we'll see what happens. All right, thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed it. Have a great day.